Tonight on EGL Live, Chris Mellow, Josh Loco, Nino de Algozman. Is that even how you say your name?
No, not even a little bit.
Okay, we'll do that again. Tonight on EGL Live, Chris Mellow and I are joined by Halo Pro player and EGL 5 Halo champion, Tyler Ninja Blevins. We'll also discuss all things Ninja, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and EGL. We'll talk about the plans for EGL Online, ideas for the EGL 2013 circuit, the art of joining an organization, and more. Finally, we have a special announcement on tonight's show, so tune in to be the first to know. All that and more coming up on what is turning out to be an absolute amateur intro, EGL Live. And welcome to EGL Live. I apologize for that appalling intro. It should have been much better. So Chris, Ninja, Loco, especially Josh, I apologize for butchering your name. Of course, we've got a great guest tonight. We always have great guests. I'm not going to put down the other guests, but as I get some sound in my ears from somewhere else, I'll close that. Anyways, we got a great guest tonight. Of course, it's MLG pro player, EGL 5 Halo champion from Straight Rippin'. We've got Ninja, a.k.a. Tyler Blevins. Tyler, how you doing tonight?
Well, today, actually, since I'm in the States, but I'm doing amazing. Just enjoying some delicious Taco Bell, and ready to talk, man. Let's get it going.
Awesome. You know that Taco Bell in Mexico? I don't know if it's still there, but it was advertised as American food.
Yeah, actually, it is. It's advertised as American food, and I also know that there aren't any Taco Bells in England. So, not that I found, man. I was extremely upset. I found KFC, man. That's all I could. I was there for a week, and I did not find one Taco Bell, dude.
There is one in Manchester, mate, on the Market Street, but obviously there's no way we're gonna go there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's new. It's new.
Well, this is Taco Bell needs covered.
More you know, dude.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be talking, of course, with my, of course, co-hosts Chris Mellow and Josh Loco, Nino de Guzman. I'm not butchering your name a second time. And we're going to talk about Halo Reach, Halo 4, EGL, and kind of things that are happening in the scene tonight. So first off, we're just going to, Ninja, if you could just introduce yourself. I know most of the people are probably from the Halo community watching this, but, there's COD players who tune into this and Gears of War players. So if you can just give kind of an intro of yourself and just how you got involved in MLG and, of course, I guess Straight Rippin' now.
All right. So, yeah, I am a Ninja, also a.k.a. Tyler. I first started playing Halo ever since, Halo 1, and I got introduced into MLG at the end of Halo 2, so I wasn't able to participate in any events. But then I played a lot in Halo 3, became pro in Halo Reach, one of the very first events, and then... long story short, I guess I got picked up by Straight Rippin' with me, Strongside, Mickwin, and T2. And our current team situation right now, from what I know that Mickwin is probably going to be on Classic, and that Tom and Strongside, I mean, since I haven't been told anything by them, I'm assuming we're still a team of 3. So.
Okay. And of course,
yeah.
you to be honest, you're actually fairly new to MLG. You know, you've only been around for like 3.5 years. You kind of got involved in it and sort of watching it, I guess, right when Straight Rippin' was in like kind of like their
climax, I would say.
Yeah, I guess the Triggers down kind of end of 2008. They came back. I think it was in Dallas after a big heavy loss in like the event before that, and then they started off 2009, I think, fairly well. But since then, obviously, you guys aren't doing as well as Straight Rippin' once did.
Yep. I mean, personally, our lineup, man, when we played against the very final event, we had a pretty rough lineup. Our winners round 5 match, we had Ambush, and we had a pretty glitchy countdown flag game where we should have capped 2 flags, but when I grabbed one flag, it didn't count as a touch, and it reset after 5 seconds after I touched it. So then that would have given us the lead, and then Strong Side missed the flag grab in our jetpack, and then their team came in and stopped that one because he missed that. And then at the end of the game, to keep the game going, Strong Side touched the flag, and their flagpole was off the flag, and then they capped it when their flag was away on countdown without recovering it.
So like,
and then after that, we just we got 3-0 by them pretty much, and then we lost the Classic in a game 5 in losers. So I mean, I think we definitely had potential to place top 3 at that tournament. But I'm just assuming Mikwin got tired and thought he deserved more, so that's why he left for Classic.
Well, obviously, he was, I guess, the MVP for EGL 5.
Yep.
You know, he had an excellent tournament and so on. So it's obviously unfortunate that he's left the lineup, but I'm sure you guys are planning on moving on to bigger and better things once you guys kind of get the lineup sorted out.
Yep. That's what we're hoping for.
Of course, Josh, you are at work.
I am indeed, yeah, actually.
How's that? Every time someone opens the door, we get kind of a burst of bar, and then also you've got like the secret button of mass destruction behind your head.
I'll tell people not to come in, but yeah, if they need any help or anything, then I'll just mute my mic.
You wearing
not a big
suspenders?
deal. No, actually, that's just the top. It's got a dog on
right. It looks a bit like you are, doesn't
it? Yeah, I also thought I was conscious about that before going on stream.
Good. So going back to Ninja, who's eating again now, just see the top of his head. With MLG announcing that with Halo Reach not currently being on the circuit, how's that affected the North American Halo scene? Have people kind of lost motivation, or are people more motivated? How's that working at the moment?
I am.
Shoe man, shoe.
No, go man. Alright. I'm going to go with that's double-edged sword right there, because I feel like a lot of the pro players are the ones who are becoming less motivated, and then there are a lot of amateur players who I know that have been contacting me saying they want to get more shows started, more live broadcasts started, so that they can try to reunite the community. And I really think that it's kind of we're having a withdrawal from MLG right now. We're being we've been sucking on the teat for so long, and now it's okay, well, now they took it away from Anaheim, and now everyone's okay, well, we don't know what to do. We're just gonna do other shit. I know there are a bunch of pro players that are playing League of Legends now. I'm playing a crapload of Star Wars, with my brother. We play every single day. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like Halo Reach still has a chance, definitely, for to have a couple more tournaments, because as you can see, after that last tournament, that was probably one of the best. The most teams showed up. The free for all capped out at 1,200 players, and then the crowd was absolutely insane. So I feel like we still have that. If there were to be another event, I think it would.
I want to know one thing, actually, Ninja. What are some of the companies, who supported Halo players and Halo teams and MLG, like Astro and Gamma Labs? What are they doing now? Now MLG isn't around for Halo Reach at the minute.
I know that I don't know 100% what is going. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I mean I know that there's definitely going to be hope for Halo, other than MLG. I know that there's going to be some companies that are going to start doing some stuff. But I know that Gamma Labs already announced that they're doing a gaming house, right? Neighbor, that YouTube video where Neighbor's staring off at the distance, and there's some random guy talking to him in the background, saying if you build it, they will come. So I think that's what Gamma Labs is going towards. They're going to do another gaming house, and then Astro, I don't think they're doing anything. I'm pretty sure that they're just sponsoring Instinct, and that's pretty much it.
Quite interesting that they've stayed in the scene, though. Are they hopeful for Halo 4, or are they just dead interested in the players that they're supporting and think they can go somewhere with them?
I'm pretty sure that they think they can go somewhere with them, and I mean, with a team like Instinct, you can pretty much go at the end of the year. It's like they're such a versatile team, and they're really good. But I also do believe that there are high hopes for Halo 4. I mean, if you think about it, everyone's saying that Halo 4 is going to be like Call of Duty. Well, in a sense, I kind of hope it is, that a crap load of little kids can play it and like be good at it and have fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's like the most important thing, and that's why the Call of Duty's done so well, is that MLG has taken Halo so far away from everyone calls it vanilla Halo, to the point where it's really hard to get involved in MLG settings and so on. It's hard to find matches and matchmaking and so on. If you do find a match, you usually, because there's so little people, you get paired up against people who just crush you, so it's not fun.
Yep. I mean, you pick up Call of Duty, man, you point, shoot, you win. And this is, of course, non-competitive. Clearly, there's much more behind this. I respect professional Call of Duty players, because that is a lot harder than, just pubbing around. But like, the idea is to get your viewers and to get your consumers to like the game. And if everyone loves the format of Call of Duty, dude, then why not like mix it in a little bit of Halo and hopefully a lot of Halo and a little bit of Call of Duty? I'd be fine with that, dude, because they have like millions or hundreds of thousands of people online at a time, in like multiple games, not just their new one. And I'm hoping that that's exactly what it's going to be like for Halo 4. I hope the title itself will sell. Not even the game. I just hope that opening day, Halo 4, being Halo, being 4, like, it just sells, man. And then hopefully people are like, this game's awesome.
It's interesting to see what happens with each version of Halo, because as you just said, Call of Duty, you've got people who are still playing Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, and then, of course, Modern Warfare 3 now. And with Halo, you kind of have the diehards who stick around with Halo 2 and so on. When Halo 3 came out and then Halo Reach came out, and it's actually really surprising that didn't happen to the same extent that it's happened with COD, especially with Reach versus Halo 3, just because of how different the games actually are.
Yeah, I feel like, and I made this tweet yesterday, and I still kind of support it. Halo Reach honestly should never have been picked up on the circuit for multiple reasons. One being that it was Bungie's shit game that they just threw together because they had to. And then another, I mean, Halo Reach is before Halo 1 and Halo 2 and Halo 3. It's a prequel to all three games. It should have been viewed as a game like World at War. Just like a random pub game that people can play. Like, it's not competitive. There weren't tournaments for World at War. It was one of those old-fashioned Call of Duty war games that, people wanted to just play. And that's exactly how Halo Reach should have been, because Halo 3, like, there wasn't a next Halo, essentially. We're going backwards with Halo Reach, and I feel like it should have just been one of those, like, campaign games only, oh yeah, the matchmaking is cool, but everyone's just going to stay with Halo 3. Like, I feel like that's what we should have done. Tell that person I said hi, Josh.
Got visitors. So is he feeling like of animosity towards MLG over their decision to drop it from the circuit, or the top players of the semi-pro players, even the amateurs, are they just upset to the decision?
Yeah, they're definitely upset with the decision.
But do you think that perhaps, like, because I was so pissed off when I got dropped, and I understand financially why MLG's done it, because I've been involved in plenty of games over time to understand that Halo and any kind of shooting game isn't as attractive to sponsors as StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is a single-player game, which helps it. You don't need to gather a group of friends to play it, so it's universally popular. But then also there's no knives or guns. Not that there's knives in Halo, but there's still guns, and I think that maybe the setting kind of puts people off because it's kind of space-themed, I guess. But at the end of the day, you don't have guns, and I remember when we used to run a TV channel here called X League, and we couldn't show a lot of Call of Duty unless it was after 9 p.m. because there's something called the watershed here, which is when you can show violence and sex. So people don't really look at like at the end of the day, you can understand why the decision's been made. But so you got Halo gets dropped, but is it going to make it stronger perhaps? Because everyone knew it could get dropped for the last event, and in Columbus we saw the numbers that were huge. So it gets dropped. They'll bring it back hopefully for the next one. The numbers will probably be about the same.
I mean, hopefully, I feel like after Halo's been dropped, there's still we've done our job. like the reason that event was so big was because we advertised it appropriately. Everyone went there. We hyped it up. We hyped it up when we were there. We tweeted about it, and more people like learned that Halo Reach was still like a good game, a pretty decent game, and it could be, you know, what it is right now. And the fact that they dropped it for Anaheim, I mean, I still think we've still collectively gathered all of those members of the community and added more to Halo Reach, and like I still think it's going to be a pretty big show up for the next Halo tournament if they have one. But like it's like Sundance always says, like I mean, I don't know if he's constantly looking for them, but he always is looking for sponsors to back up Halo, and you know, I'm assuming it's just harder to get, you know, now after probably the first couple of tournaments of Halo Reach. I mean, be it as it may, like we gave them like the settings that we wanted, and they wanted to, and then they put in their own, which is kind of how it usually always is. But I mean, I know we won't let that happen for Halo 4. If you know, if MLG picks up Halo 4, and you know we give them, you know, our input on settings that we want, and then they don't listen, like I feel like there's going to be enough people, enough other companies that are trying to run Halo 4 around where we can just completely, you know, go off on our own.
Do you think that competitive gamers or ex-MLG pros or whatever are even, you know, in a position to be able to call what rules are good and what are not? Because let's not forget, before the Bloom, everyone was calling out, wow, this is going to be amazing, the Bloom, yeah, you got to be more skillful, more precise with your shots, you got to time more, and, you know, if someone had been sent into the Bungie office and said, well, this is the Bloom, and had a little fiddle around with it, they'd probably go, yeah, this is great. So, you know, what makes you think that pro players, well, MLG pro players, have any kind of credible input in what will be competitive settings?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're coming from, and I mean, like we did a poll. We had a poll on, you know, the MLG Pro forums, and where only we could see, and our votes were I'm pretty sure we had 41 said no Bloom, and then like 20 pros said Bloom, and with Sprint
I remember later on. Yeah, I remember later on. It was like
Sprint was different. Like, we voted for Sprint, and you know that was clearly a mistake. But I mean, I feel like it still would have been better than Sprint and Bloom, which is, I mean, like we said, no Bloom, and they put in Bloom, and then like Sprint, we had Sprint like the first. Oh man, I do believe that the Halo pros, like us, like on our community, should have like a higher say.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should also take in to the community's input too. If you just have a massive poll, you know, from community members, and like that's just they should be more credible as well. But like just percentages, it should all be percentages. You know, like even though there's like a less amount of pros, like we still have a higher percentage if, you know, X amount of players vote for no Bloom. Let's say there's Bloom in Halo or in Halo 4, right? And we vote 80% of the pros vote, you know, no Bloom, and then 80% of the community votes no Bloom. Like it's still, I mean, it should be viewed like that. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about right now, man. I just know.
Okay. I know what you mean. You're talking about the weighting of the votes.
Yeah, so the weighting, the balancing of the community's opinion and the pros' opinion is what I'm saying. We have less people, but if we have more of our pros voting for one thing, like it should be viewed as percentages, not as how many votes.
In theory, say the pros votes count towards 50% of the total idea, and then the community counts towards 50% of the total decision. So even say 100 people vote from the community and 10 pros vote, it's still worth the same amount. That's what I understand.
Yeah, of course, yeah. How popular, Tyler, do you think in general that Halo 4 would be if, and obviously it probably won't be doing so, but if it just went back to the fundamentals of Halo, you know, Halo 2, Halo 3 mechanics in a sense, do you think it would still be popular, you know, with casual and hardcore gamers?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It definitely would be, because you have, not only would you be bringing back all of the people who loved Halo 2, like, to death, the people who still play it on PC and, you know, on XP.
Yeah, but was that a lot of people compared to today?
It was definitely a lot of people, but you have to understand, though, there's also a crap load of people now that we've brought into the Halo Reach and Halo 3 community who have played Halo 2 and agreed that it is a better game. So, like, we would still be getting those players, too, and then not to mention the fact that it is a new Halo 4, we're still going to be bringing even more people who might not even have ever played a Halo. Yeah. You know, as long as we hype it up, which we're going to. I mean, I can only imagine how many tweets are going to go out the week or the month before Halo 4 comes out. I already know it's going to be unreal. You know, and hopefully players like, you know, Walshy and Ian and Abel, like the Red Bull sponsors, people who are sponsored by NOS and stuff like that, they advertise it as well, and they get Red Bull and NOS.
Halos. Yeah, I agree. Halo's always had the the characters on the community side, more so than any other community, I'd say. People in Halo, they're just known even by people who play Call of Duty, play Gears of War, more so than say a Gears of War or Call of Duty player would know about each other's communities. You know what I mean? Halo has always been
Yeah.
at the forefront in terms of personalities. There's no doubt about that.
One quick question before we go to a break, and that is, so assuming that Halo Reach doesn't make it back to the circuit, and the next time we see Halo is come Halo 4 time, which will probably be about April next year.
Yeah.
Do you think the same players will be at the top of the scene? So will the same top players be competing for first place, or will we see new players come through in that time frame?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. You're definitely going to have some new players that are going to be coming in, just like we had in Halo Reach and in Halo 3, but I also believe that you will be having, most of the top tier pros are going to be, once again at the top level in Halo 4. But I guess it all depends if it even gets picked up, or if we actually do something with it. We can't just say we're going to do something with it. We have to just create some other leagues and hold more tournaments. Become a league of our own. Oh, dude, we should make a movie, dude. League of our own.
We can have we can get Tom Hanks to be the coach.
Yes.
We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to be discussing organizations and the importance of sponsors and player obligations to those sponsors. We'll also talk a little bit about the Halo Council and get Ninja's opinion on that and kind of the reorganization of the Halo community around the globe, not just in the U.S., but also here in Europe, as he has attended a European event. So coming up here on EGL Live, all that and more, so stick around. All right, so coming up here on EGL Live, we're going to be giving you the dates of the
Uh-oh.
I think Mike has gone.
with Ninja, Loco, Mellow,
Mike,
and
you cut off
myself.
then. So you need to start all of that again because you just froze partway through. So yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So coming up, we got the 2013 dates, and we're gonna talk Halo with Ninja. I'm so confused now. I'm pretty sure my internet connection is terrible, which is why I got cut off. But okay. So Ninja, well, let's just kind of finish the discussion we were having before the break, and that was kind of like the revivement of Halo and Halo 4 and its effect on the community. You were saying about kind of players being able to move on to other leagues and so on. Obviously, when I think Sundance kind of called out the Halo community last year and said, what are you guys doing? It seems like you're doing a lot. And then some players formed the Halo Council, and there's been some other stuff going on. What's your opinion on that?
I think I've mentioned this in I did another interview, and they asked pretty much kind of the same question. I love what the Halo Council was doing and what they've started. There's so many people that are trying to create their own way of helping out the community. and basically just trying to bring everybody together, make sure everyone's on the same page. But I kind of think that everyone should be like communicating with each other within the community, because there's so many. There's like already a lot of shows that are coming out. If they just talk about like who's going to talk about what, so they all don't like repeat themselves. Like that's one thing. But what the Halo Council is doing is incredible. They have they're being a lot more active on YouTube now. They're coming up with a lot of YouTube videos. I mean, and honestly, it's pretty much already set in stone that everyone is just looking forward to Halo 4, because of there's just countless and countless of Halo 4 videos that are being released, and they're just like all over. When Halo 4 pictures are released, they make a YouTube video about it. Like I really feel like that's where everyone's like settling for now is like we're getting ready for Halo 4, and hopefully we can have our own like a league of our own for Halo 4, and hopefully it's big enough for MLG to want to do something with it as well. I mean, without Halo, MLG wouldn't even be here right now. But I mean, I guess they stalled long enough for StarCraft to take them above and beyond.
Oh, I think me and Chris would have a few things to say about that, but we'll leave it another day. I don't know.
I mean, it's really interesting because you say about StarCraft in the States, and you look at it kind of globally and how big it is. Then you look at it in Europe, and in particular Germany, and how massive it is, and the opposite in the UK, where it's actually like people play it, but there's the leagues haven't developed as much as they have elsewhere. We had IPL over here last year, and it didn't really do that well, considering like there was a fairly big tournament to be able to play against a lot of the MLG pros from StarCraft. Yeah. And it's really surprising just to see kind of a game like that not do so well in the UK in particular. But then you look at Call of Duty and like just how it's massive for such a we've got a population that's basically a tenth of the United States, but it's just it's ridiculous. That's all I can say. It's ridiculous. What do you think about kind of StarCraft and its explosion in the States?
I mean, I think it's kind of insane. It seems insane because you just see like whenever I go on I used to go on StarCraft streams. It was like usually like a crap load of like Koreans talking in the chat, and of course there would be like a good amount of American viewers, but it's like when they held an event, man, there are people like with like painting their bodies and like posting up like making like signs and shit. It's honestly it was like I kind of felt like they were jumping on the bandwagon at first, like StarCraft's so amazing, they love it, but it really like it's like surprised the shit out of me, dude. I had no idea there was this many people that enjoyed playing StarCraft. I mean, especially since like here's the thing that is just extremely like irritating to me is that like if I wanted to be a professional StarCraft player, not only would I not be able to do it, if I would be able to do it, it would take me like 5 years just to develop the ability to understand the game as well as they do. And then it would take me another 5 years to be able to macro and micro as well as they do. Like, there is no way anyone in America is going to be able to compete with any Korean. And, like, the fact that they could follow something like a game that they'll never have a chance in, or, like, they'll play a game where they can't compete in, you know what I mean? They can't get somewhere in it. Like, that's really, I guess, that's what, just confuses me the most, is that there's no chance in hell that anyone who plays the game in America is going to be able to compete with a Korean, like just hands down, and like the fact that they could just still love it and play it like that, like
right, like new competitors, because obviously there are a couple of North American players.
Like that's like me playing Halo and just knowing that I could never be as good as somebody else. Like I would have no motivation to play.
I'm wondering
what
though,
makes games popular. See, right. That's the difference. If you can play a game knowing that you're not going to be the best, but you still enjoy competing on it, then that's a good game. Or that's a game that's going to work, on circuits.
I don't know. I guess. I mean, the thing, yeah.
I wonder, like MLG strategy, because you've seen them flip around between a couple different StarCraft 2 leagues from Korea. Obviously, at Gum TV for a while. Now they flipped over to the other huge one. Not Star League, whatever the other big one is, and there's, what is it? No, not game-wise, the league-wise. For StarCraft leagues in Korea. Dan's talking to me right now if you're wondering what's going on the stream. There's another guy who just talks to us. He's the voice of God, but you can't hear him. I'm actually just hearing things in my mind. Okay, anyways,
God, I'm not
there's so ultimately, MLG's flipped a couple different leagues from Korea. The partnerships, the first partnership, Kespa. Thank you, Kara. Fucking Aaron, you are the man. So Kespa, which is a Korean Esports association, who is like Samsung. It's basically Samsung, and a whole bunch of other, StarCraft in Korea is run by huge corporations. Like the teams are owned by corporations. They spend a lot of money on the teams. They've got their little houses. Everyone thinks that StarCraft players in Korea are really well paid and like huge celebrities. They're not. They're treated like crap. They live in little crappy apartments in Seoul and have like, there's like 15 of them crammed into a place, and they have to practice 12 hours a day, and if they don't practice... it's a sweatshop. There's a sweatshop industry in Korea.
You can see videos of them, and they're like, "This is our new apartment. They've got lockers in the room. You don't need lockers unless you're going to get robbed." So I don't know if this is sort of a security issue, but it's really, really like almost like lower than student housing or what you expect of student housing in the UK. And they're all in there, whatever. Just but they probably enjoy it.
But I like so Hand for the Win says $500,000 salary. That's one guy in Korea. There's thousands of players who are playing for probably below Korean minimum wage because they want to play. They're all young. Like, people play games when they're young because they don't have anything better to do. Usually, most of these gamers have parents who are able to kind of subsidize their income and so on. You see kind of the guys who get a bit older and start to get a life and have to get a real job and so on, and they stop playing competitively. They might still be involved in the communities. A good example is... who's the YouTube guy who does a lot of the giveaways?
I think the way that their culture is set up, it's similar to, over here, kids grow up, they play soccer, or in America, kids grow up, they're now more and more playing soccer, but they're playing, football, they're playing baseball, they're playing basketball, whatever. But a lot of them, they know they're not going to make it. They just do it because it's the culture, that's what they enjoy. It's the pastime of choice, really. And in Korea, a lot of kids grow up playing StarCraft for that reason. They find their level. Some of them will make it to pro, some will make it to semi-pro. Some of them will forever be amateur, but they'll still be good amateurs, for example.
Yeah. I guess so. But at the end of the day, it's, so I'm going to go back to my original point because I got to start direct there by just talking about how poor Korean StarCraft 2 gaming conditions are if you're an amateur. But you've got kind of MLGs trying to figure out what they're going to do. They've got Kespa on board now. You're going to see some different pros coming over from Korea. Now, Korea, most of the pros are lined up for each league, so you're going to see different players coming over, which is one thing. So you're going to have different Koreans winning eventually. But will MLG set themselves up to be able to take over a league over there or build their own league, bring in some veteran Koreans, like management from the management side, the business side, to start a league up, which is MLG branded, and then not allow the Koreans to play in the States, which in turn allows the game to develop more from an American point of view. And then all of a sudden you've got ultimately what everyone in gaming is kind of waiting for, which is a better version of the World Cyber Games.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
conversation killer. No comment.
No.
That's a no comment, dude.
Well, I guess Josh or Chris, do you have anything to say about that?
I mean, the concept of the World Cyber Games, at the minute, it's not even. Is it working really? I mean, it's either working or if anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like a better version of the World Cyber Games.
Oh no,
the World Cyber Games is an interesting one because it's freaking awesome. Like,
absolutely.
But because the way they set their rule sets and stuff when they were getting. One thing that really hurt them was, Halo could have been a big game for the World Cyber Games, but they refused to take the MLG rule set on board. They kind of did a bastardized version of it the second time they ran through a Halo event. But, everyone was kind of like, what the hell are these people doing? They take
it was
seriously.
the MLG rule set. It was almost the same. They just tweaked it very slightly. Like,
that was the second time they ran Halo, though.
It was only Team Slayer, though. You know what I mean? It's like a big,
it was. No, it was. Yeah, I tell you that. But so it was almost like MLG Team Slayer, but with no kill limit, which was weird in itself. But yeah, it's just for them. I don't know, because obviously it clashed with MLG as well at the time, so it ruled out a lot of the MLG pros. So I think a semi-pro team ended up representing the US, and they won anyway. But obviously that then limits the exposure and stuff. And when you're clashing, more people are turning on to MLG and stuff like that. So I think the World Time game.
Wasn't it not the Canadian team won?
No, I don't think so.
No. I think it was. It was that.
No, I think it was the Canadian guys who won and it was a Canadian team that had went over to MLG a couple times.
Yeah.
All right. The MLG, still the US team that represented the US. They were a semi-pro team as well. I think.
Yeah, but it's still a semi-pro team at the end of the day. Let's move on, kind of, to our next topic of discussion as we kind of build up the anticipation for the 2013 EGL tour dates, which is going to be awesome to announce those. We are really, really organized now. Well, somewhat organized, except for the 75-pound screw-up. Of course, we're talking about kind of the importance of sponsors. And Ninja, let's first kind of talk about your position. You've played for multiple, kind of like the big legacy teams, be it Final Boss and then Straight Rippin'. And how important do you think sponsors are in gaming? Do you think competitions that rely on kind of entry fees are doomed? Do you think that obviously MLG's at a certain point where they're sponsors are lining up, but obviously smaller things like NJ Halo and that have trouble kind of attracting big names. Do you think that's the route to go, and do you think sponsors have a place within kind of competitive gaming, and how does that work?
I feel like sponsors definitely need to be more, or somehow we need to get sponsors more involved in Halo and make it better for them, because when people have to pay like a massive entry fee, or even a pretty decent entry fee to get into a tournament, that's going to be a turnoff. Especially if they have to drive, not only an hour away like NJ Halo, maybe it was like a 6-hour drive. Like, because I'll go to a LAN if it's like a decent entry fee, but like a good payout, and I know there's a lot of sponsors. Like, I'll drive 6 hours to go to a tournament and take it out. Like, but instantly, like, there are some local tournaments, man, that I know just aren't going to be good because the payout, the entry fee is like $100 a team or something like that, and I know that they don't have any sponsors, and the payout's not going to be big, or there's not going to be a lot of teams that are even going to show up because of like credibility is sometimes an issue. A lot of the times with tournaments that are being held outside of MLG, which is sad because like we're never going to strive if we can't start going to our own tournaments that we're trying to throw for like one another. But as for sponsors, I would say I haven't really had any, personally, I've never been sponsored by anybody that has picked me up. Like, Apex sponsored Straight Rippin' to come out to Europe, and, that was great. But other than that, I've been pretty much, I've just had, like, the branded name, like Final Boss and Straight Rippin', but none of the perks, I guess.
All right, but, obviously, Apex sent you guys out to EGL and so on, and that must have been a pretty good experience.
Yeah, I know, it was incredible, man. It was definitely one of the greatest experiences of my life. Hanging out with Loco over here, just chilling like every single day after the tournament. Just like getting to experience Manchester and Blackpool for a little bit. Luckily we got out of there pretty fast.
Don't say that. We're there next.
Blackpool's the greatest. I can't wait to go back, man. Hey, I won 80 pounds at the casino there, man. I'm down to go back, dude.
I can't believe you pulled that off. That was so bullshit.
Dude, that was awesome, man. I just kept going. I was black all night, dude. Black just won it for me, man. Roulette all day.
So how did you feel that the event compared to events you've attended in the States?
Honestly, I felt like a really good vibe in EGL. Sometimes in MLG it kind of felt like a little awkward. Just like knowing that there are, people aren't really here to watch Halo. There's like 9% of the people here to watch StarCraft, except for the last event. The last event was awesome because I would say it was equal. But the EGL, it was really cool. Like, everyone knew their stuff. everyone knew who I was. Everyone knew who Strongside was. They knew who all the Americans who were there. And I feel like EGL, they're a lot more. They're more. What am I trying to think of the word? I would just say they know what's going on. Like, they kind of know, like, they knew the team situations and everything, and I know that there's just, like, a bunch of people who come into my chat who are like, yo, what's going on with this team? What's going on with this team? Are you still on Straight Rippin'? Like, I don't know. It was just a really cool feeling being in Europe, and just, like, the people there were extremely nice, so.
It was, when I was, I'll admit that I was, especially with Strongside and T-Squared there, kind of like, holy shit, we've got MLG pros here who've been playing for 5-6 years and have won MLG, and it was pretty awesome. And then, you know, it was just spectacular, and just to see the Halo community and like just to know how much it meant to the guys that kind of like the, you know, the community leaders and so on, and a lot of the people who are kind of at the forefront of Halo in Europe, just how much it meant to them that you guys had made that trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's ultimately like it was like a hub from you, like from you guys to the Halo community in Europe, just saying like, you know, we know you guys are here.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna take your money.
Pretty much, yeah. Hopefully we got some members watching from, you know, maybe whether it be Riots or Fusion, you know, Bucks. Sorry about that, guys, but it had to be done. Had to be done.
How good were they then in the final?
They were honestly really good. They took, I mean, it was like a pretty good series. It was like 6-4, I think we won, best of 11, or 6-3. Like, you know, they weren't giving it to us. You know, we definitely had to take it away from them. You know, we had to take that victory from them, and we did. You know, especially after Austin stopped sucking the first day. You know, his excuse, it's not an excuse. He was pretty hungover the first day that we played, but he definitely made up for it in the finals. So.
I think you'd be surprised how many people are playing hungover while they're there, actually.
I can't believe. I'm always amazed at how like good people look, considering the condition that I assume that some of them are in.
I remember casting with you at the Gadget Show, not so long ago, Mike, and you just looked at me and said, "You need to do this because I'm not feeling it," and you were so ill. That was at the Gadget Show. That was like not this year, but the year before.
And then I brought in the rule that none of the casters are allowed to get really drunk at events.
I think that's a good rule.
Yeah, or production staff.
I think. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Rel set the standards there, didn't he?
Yeah.
We learned from Rel when he was in Amsterdam and he was being sick everywhere. Not a good choice.
Well, it seems like every event he's ill in some form. I guess not always from drinking, but.
Yeah, quite true.
Of course, you know, you talked about sponsors, Ninja, and kind of, you know, what your opinions on bringing them into Halo and so on. What do you think about player responsibilities and kind of what the players have to do in order to kind of embrace the sponsors and make them interested in kind of, you know, supporting ultimately our hobby?
I think that basically what does any company want? You know, they want advertisement. They want people to purchase their product. They want, you know, to be able to grow and not have to spend more money than they're going to be making. And we can do that by, I mean, I think everyone in the community of Halo, like every single player should have a Twitter. You know, just for keeping up on, you know, like what's going on, keeping up on the news of, you know, what everything's happening in the Halo community, so that, you know, they know what's going on. Maybe if like they support a sponsor, you know, someone that's sponsoring MLG, like, you know, just the more people that, you know, retweet their tweets, like the better. You know, they're going to think like, oh, you know, it's actually working. Look how many people are like, you know, like responding to us and following us now. As well as like YouTube videos, people need it. I mean, if they're being sponsored by, you know, certain companies, they should be putting, you know, a quick little like logo flash like at the beginning, like in their introduction of every video, you know, basically just giving them as much exposure as possible so that they can say, you know, this is not a waste of time. Look at this guy's views. He can get, you know, 50,000 views on a YouTube video about Halo, and, you know, that's 50,000 people that can watch, you know, or that could see my logo there, you know? So, I mean, everybody needs to just start getting more involved with Twitter and YouTube and, you know, and the forums too, so.
Do you think this is quite a question to all of you, really? Do you think, you know, so these small amount of sponsors who are coming in and dealing with organizations on the very rare occasion players, do you think they should be getting the players and getting these players and organizations to do more of their own accord as well, as opposed to the players doing more? Should the sponsors be
mutual, isn't it?
giving
I mean,
more? Yeah.
Ultimately, like,
it's not enough.
so
No, yeah.
say I'm a company, and, you know, somebody gets in contact with me, and they say, right, I can provide, you know, 10,000 views on to your logo a month, and then that's it. And I say, oh yeah, I'll pay you £200 based on that, and then they deliver that. Then I have no reason to complain in theory, because I've, you know, if I accepted that, I must have thought, yeah, that's going to give me a return on my investment, and therefore, you know, it's up to me to, if I didn't think that was going to be enough, I should be saying, well, that's going to get me this much exposure. I want to see this as well. I want to see Baldwin t-shirts at LAN. I want to see a video every 2 days with my logo on it.
Exactly.
I want to see your players, wearing my headsets at your events and stuff like that. So I think it's a mutual responsibility, really.
I think you've hit the nail on the head with exactly why we see kind of a flux of sponsorship in gaming, and why, we see. Okay, so for example, Intel, ESL. And why that relationship is so strong, because it's very clear exactly what ESL is going to offer, and I think a lot of sponsors get turned off by the idea of continuing sponsorship in gaming, because the ground rules aren't laid out very clearly to them. And I think now more than ever, the ground rules are very easy to lay out, because players have their own responsibility to kind of put their name out there, and not enough players do that. We've discussed this countless times on this podcast, or every week for the last 4 weeks, and the fact that players do not do anywhere near enough to deserve to be paid to do anything. There's in Europe, it's I can do it in my hands.
I think that's unfair to say that although
it's not unfair. It's not unfair.
No,
they're not going to YouTube. They're not doing exactly what Ninja says they need to do. And you look at kind of like a lot of the American gamers and so on, especially kind of at the height of Halo and what they were doing for gaming. They were doing a lot more. And it obviously it's up to the sponsors to tell them what they need. But at the same time, what's the point of sponsoring a player if he's just going to sit in his bedroom all the time and not put the company's name out there? He needs to get on YouTube. He needs to get on Twitter. He needs to promote the product, and he needs to offer the sponsor the opportunities to put himself out there. So, Dignitas is the best team at this. Especially with Scan. They do their Scan days. They go up there. They take, 3 or 4 guys up there, and they have, like their little events and so on. There's not many gamers who do that, or teams that do that.
No, it's true. But like going back to what I said before, you can't just say if a company agrees to do something for a certain amount, then that's it. If I can get something for very little, for just sitting in my room, then that's it. And,
they will do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And why would you not do that?
That's not right, though, and it's not how it works when you're starting out something.
No, I agree.
No, it's not. It works that way when you have a full-time job and you know what your job is and you're getting paid a salary and so on. It doesn't work for a mom-and-pop operation, which is what gaming is at this point.
The thing is, it's also an education thing, though, Mike. Some gamers don't know what to do. Some gamers are good enough to earn these sponsorships, and then they don't know what to do after that. So
it's a case of obviously a player needs to improve their own marketability to be able to bring in more money. But once a company's signed on the dotted line and said, you need to do this, this, and this, I'm going to deliver this, this, and this, once the contract's in place, that's what they've got to deliver. Delivering above that is good. Obviously, it's good for the sponsor. They're probably good to demand more money in the future. But ultimately, they don't have to do anything above that once they get to that point. If a company is foolish enough to say, I will give you £200 a month for 100 site hits, then that's not a return for them, but that's foolish on their part. That's all.
Yeah, you are right, Mike. I definitely agree.
I agree with what you're saying, but
just not. Yeah.
I know what you're saying, Chris, and I appreciate your total point of view is correct in the fact that there's contracts and so on. It's just more the fact that the only way for us to attract sponsors is if players go above and beyond, and they don't do that now. They don't even go to the level they should be, and they need to be offering. They need to be offering the right things, and I know it's partially our fault. To help people do that, and I know, Chris, you do that through Deserto. If people need to ask you stuff, same with Josh. You're available to talk to people. Ninja, do you make yourself available to kind of like newer players and everything?
To new players, yeah. I mean, all they have to do is just send me a tweet, and I'll usually tweet back to them if it's a question that I want to answer. Yeah, if they tweeted me something like about my stream, like I usually start streaming, but I mean, I don't really get that many questions from a lot of new people, besides how can I fix my stream or something like that. So,
well, I guess like also it's up to like the newer players, and it's the funniest thing you see is when people who are new to gaming ask for sponsorship, and the way they go about it. Like there's like a company right now trying to get EGL tickets, and they just tweet us every day, and I've said to them, email me. That's all you have to do is just email me. We'll have a discussion about what you can offer us and vice versa and go from there. But I've not had an email. I just got constant tweets. Of course, we're going to be announcing the 2013 event dates here on the live stream tonight. We're going to take a break now. But when we come back, we will discuss Halo 4 a bit more in depth. Maybe not from just a competitive standpoint, but just maybe even from kind of the history of how we've come to Halo 4, considering, it was only 2 years ago that we didn't think a game like this would be coming about. We'll also be talking about the journey of an American team coming over here. So all that and more coming up here on EGL Live after the break. And we're coming up to the final part here of EGL Live, Episode 5. Coming up at the very end, we're going to give you the 2013 event dates for EGL. But first, we're going to finish off the conversation here with Ninja. Of course, we got Halo 4 impressions out of the way a bit earlier, but let's just kind of go back to that and, just kind of, not necessarily from a competitive standpoint, but are you excited for Halo 4 because you have been playing since Halo 1?
Halo 4 is like, oh man, I'm trying to think of the perfect way to describe it. Water in the desert, man. My brother just came up with water in the desert, man. It's needed. We need it right now. Like, just how shitty they gave us Halo Reach when it first came out, and to how we've actually turned it into a playable game, by changing basically the entire game, changing everything. We've changed everything. We've enhanced the movement speed. We've enhanced the gravity. We have changed the bloom, and we've gotten rid of sprint. We literally took their game, scrapped it, and literally just we tried to make it as basic as possible because it was just so shitty. Now, I just pray to God that Halo 4 is trying to be like Halo Reach, in what they tried to do, accomplish, a really cool thing to watch and cool thing to play, but actually make it good. Actually not suck at it. Just pull it off, essentially. You know what I mean? Just make it amazing. Make it such a good game to play, dude. Make it so that I can log on, start up my stream, and have fun for 8 hours like I used to at the beginning of Halo Reach, because it was in MLG, there was something to reach for, and now it's I get on, I play for like an hour, and I just don't want to stream anymore. It's just not fun. Like, there's nothing fun about it. I mean, I get on Halo 3, and I'm having like the time of my life, and that's probably what I'm going to be streaming until Halo 4 comes out. So,
Josh, are you excited for Halo 4, seeing as you're a former Halo pro?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, why wouldn't I be? And it's Halo 4, but more importantly, it's gonna be fresh. And I want fresh. I want the new developer. I like that they are keen. They are involved with the competitive community. You know, they publicly announced that. And I think I just have a feeling that it's gonna be a little bit arcadey, but in a good way. I just think it's gonna be a bit faster. The kill times are gonna be a bit faster. And I just think it's not gonna be right. It might not be 100% right straight away. But I just, I have high hopes, and really, until we see some footage, because all we've seen is very minimal footage and screenshots.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty shitty footage that's like Halo 4 leaked.
Yeah, but no, I am, and I just think it's going to bring the fun back into Halo. I hope so anyway.
Yeah, it will. It definitely will. I know it will. I'm calling it right now.
It sounds so desperate.
Dude, it will, dude. You don't understand. I'm serious, man. I'm not messing around. I'm being 100% serious. It's going to
I just want the communication between 343 and the community, to keep up. I don't want it to have to be the same old people who are doing that. I want 343 to create the mediums of communication upon which people can, anyone can discuss with them, and then obviously community figureheads or player figureheads at the same time can speak about the finer details.
Yeah, I mean, like what happened? Like here's what I've been saying this a lot about Halo Reach, man. Like, you can tell Bungie didn't give two shits about it. I mean, it took them like 2 months to come out with their very first update when we gave them crap that was like this game isn't good because of this, and this. Can we get an update? Fix it, please. Like that never happened. There's a lot of feedback. What's going on? All right, no, we're good. All right, and then also, it should be if Halo 4, like, dude. All right, fuck. Let me put it like this, okay? The reason that StarCraft is still a viable game and people play that shit is because of the fact that it is played competitively, right? It is a competitive game that people play for money, there's tournaments being held, it elongates the length of how long people play the game, alright? Games like Halo 2, the reason Halo 2 was played for so many years was because MLG picked it up, because there was tournaments, people could still find out about MLG, and then they would purchase the game if they already didn't have it. If a company communicates with leagues such as MLG and the community, they will elongate the popularity of their game, and more people will buy it in the future. People will continue to buy it. Maybe their disc might even break, and then they'll buy another game. You know what I mean? Like, people will continue to play that game for an exponentially longer than they would had it not be picked up by a competitive league. And that's what 343 needs to understand. That's what they should. It's common sense. They want more money. They would invest in a company such as MLG and be like, what do you want us to do to make this game more competitive? So
yeah.
So from your point of view, let's suppose the worst case scenario happens and Halo 4 comes out and you're like, no, this is awful. Is it another game you'd consider playing, or?
I would still play the shit out of it, dude. Just because I know. I mean, I'm gonna be a little selfish here. I know that even if it isn't competitive, I could milk the shit out of it by saying I'm streaming Halo 4. Come watch me play. But I have high hopes, extremely high hopes. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to stream it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to play it. And it's going to be competitive. Dude, optimism. Let's go.
Blue Halo 4.
Well, okay, I'm back. I guess my webcam's no longer working.
Nice face, mate.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. I love it. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Amazing picture.
It just shows how much of an attractive man I really am.
So happy.
Ninja, of course, are you excited for E3? Because obviously we'll hear a lot more about Halo 4, and a lot of people watching are going to find out about Black Ops 2, and it's a lot of huge games for the competitive scene are coming out.
I'm E3 is literally going to be the number one thing on my list to watch when they go live. I need to see, I need to see Halo 4. I got to see it. I think it should. God, I mean, I'm totally being, biased, but I feel like it's going to be the number one game to look out for as of right now. What are you going to do with a Call of Duty game? What are you going to do with a Call of Duty game that hasn't already been done? You're going to give some more overpowered kill streaks so that people can have fun? What are you going to do with that? Call of Duty, you can only do so much. That game has been remade thousands of times. It's boring as it's from my standpoint, like every game's the same. You know, like Halo 4 has something new to offer, and that's what I'm really excited about. So I can't. Hopefully E3 releases a crap load of information and not just like a little sneak preview. I'll be pissed as shit if they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too. It's just like it's going to be just dribbles of information when ultimately, like, we should be looking towards a beta by now, and you know.
Yeah. They're not going to do a beta. It's Microsoft. Oh, apparently it's their only exclusive. That's what my brother's saying. So.
Well, from what I've seen now, they're going to also have a preview of the new Gears of War at E3.
Oh boy.
So that that potentially could steal some of the limelight away from Halo, because that was especially a recent announcement as well made today, which is a bit surprising considering how long ago Gears of War 3 came out. But so I think Halo might have a bit of competition there now with the Gears of War 4 announcement.
I feel like the Gears of War community is a lot stronger than the Halo community, but not in numbers. So I feel like Halo will still shine over them.
Well, they seem to be they're really organized, those guys.
Oh yeah, they're really organized. I give them props for that, man. I love how they do that, and but like it's the sheer numbers, you know, like it's just.
Yeah, there's always been a good relationship between the competitive Halo and Gears of War community, I've noticed. In America and not so much UK. It's not a bad relationship. In America, all the pros seem to get on along really well, and the Call of Duty guys as well. Obviously, the first two console games, well, I could be wrong here because I know there's been speckles of Shadowrun, etc. But you know, it was about Gears almost becoming a double-headed dragon with Halo, and both communities really supportive of each other up to that point. Obviously, things went downhill for both communities since then.
And I mean, someone on OMG, Sean OMG, has said, you know, to Ninja, kind of, they've compared Halo 4 to COD. If you could just kind of reiterate what you said about Call of Duty versus Halo, and why it could be a good thing if Halo was to kind of mimic some of the points of Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's just like that. The reason that Call of Duty is so popular is just because that everyone can like pick it up and play it and love it, and like that's why, you know, Call of Duty is like more popular, I guess you could say, than Halo, because people, I mean, I've been told by many people who are in my stream, who are watching me play, and they're like, hey, I'm like, why don't you play Halo sometimes? They're like, honestly, it's too hard. Simple as that. They're like, it's too hard. I can't shoot somebody once or twice and they die. Like I have to keep shooting them 5 times to break their shields, and then like 8 more times to kill them when they're like, that's one of their main, you know, problems with it. And
it's a particular skill. It's a refined skill, and it doesn't mean that it's harder to be at the top of Halo, even though I would say in relative terms it's freaking hard, especially for Europeans. But at the same time, you know, to be the best, you know, on one end you've got Halo where you have finer skills in terms of aiming and movement and knowledge, but at the same time Call of Duty, there's so many teams out there that you have to do better, and to be better than all those teams, you know, is no small feat.
But I mean, another thing that Call of Duty has is like they do have all their loadouts and they do have all their cool little features like kill streaks and stuff. And if Halo, like, but they can separate that stuff through the competitive play without changing the entire game. You know, if Halo 4 comes out with, you know, maybe like some sort of kill streak system, or you know, like in good loadouts, unlike Halo Reach, like actual good loadouts, then like I feel like that could be an extremely amazing game. You know, it could be a game that I would definitely want to play, and that could be even more popular than Call of Duty. Like, I loved being able to pick my weapon and pick, like, maybe, you know, being quieter or sprinting for longer times. Like, I thought that was a great thing with Call of Duty. I would not mind that in Halo. But the thing is, with Halo Reach, what they did was they gave you camouflage, something that's just ridiculously retarded, you know? Oh, you can armor lock. Oh, you can jetpack in the air. Like, keep it simple, but allow people to be diverse with their classes. Like that would actually be a good game that I would play. You know, like, oh, we're playing up against this pro team. We all know that Formal is going to take out the sniper loadout, or he's going to take out a range loadout. You know, we all know that. Oh, you know, Ninja is going to be, you know, he's going to try to be sneaky, so he's going to make his footsteps more quiet or some crap like that, and he's going to pick, you know, the DMR or the BR for up close battles or some crap like that with like a secondary SMG or, you know, like an assault rifle. Like, I feel like that would actually be a very cool aspect of the game if they would be able to implement that properly.
Well, I kind of agree with you in that kind of is where Halo fell down, in that on Call of Duty, it allows everyone to kind of be an individual, but it's still not too dissimilar. Whereas, with the ammo loadout, like you said, it was too much of one thing. Like doing the thing where you had you sent the hologram out, that was weird, really.
Yeah.
Being able to go invisible, or there's not a lot of difference between the two weapons they offered as well. If you had a DMR or a needle rifle, the two choices there, it's it was basically chosen fire.
Let's be clear to kind of the audience at home. I'm just going to say, sorry, Chris, for interrupting you. It's basically, we're talking about kind of vanilla versions of games because ultimately that's what gets people involved in competitive gaming. They don't, people don't just pick up a game and decide that they're going to play competitively. People play, the online settings first and then get involved in the community. So it's important that games have a very straightforward vanilla setting and that is competitive in order to attract those players.
Yeah, going back to what Ninja said, it's such a good idea in that. You could maybe have dead silence for the sneaky players, the equivalent of, so, you can't hear their footsteps, or say a player he favours, he wants to get in their face, and so he maybe wants a slightly faster rate of fire than maybe if the BR just, it shot slightly faster, so up close it was more effective, whereas the DMR, more of a precision weapon, if they're slightly further away, you'd favour that over the BR, so there's a lot of
definitely an interesting perspective, yeah.
But it's just a case of making these weapons different enough that it makes the game interesting and accessible, but not too different that it becomes weird. And one guy's got a weird laser where he's summoning some sort of airstrike, whereas the other guy's got a pea shooter, which is kind of the equivalent of what we've got at the moment. With you can go invisible or you can armor lock, you can jetpack, and it's too much of an extreme.
The jetpack thing is the most ridiculously stupid thing ever.
Oh, the jetpack I don't think was as bad as the armor lock.
If anything, it was the best one of them all, I'd say.
I'd say, yeah, maybe,
I think it's... Well, no, I'm not even going to agree with that. I just think it's just stupid. I understand.
I think the armor lock was real
hard. Excuse my language there, but it's just mind-blowing. I wonder, I know these people, ultimately they're just trying to sell copies of games, but, franchise like Halo, sells automatically. You don't need to bring gimmicks into it. You need to make a game that goes with the other games. And I think Halo is kind of, Call of Duty's done that very well. They had some hiccups and so on, especially because they were flipping between the two developers. But considering, Bungie's ultimately responsible for every version of the game so far, and Reach was obviously that we need to get something at the door and pray because their relationship with that Microsoft was ending. But it's still terrible that Microsoft in themselves allowed it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, okay, let's talk about EGL. We're going to wrap things up now. Of course, Ninja, you were over for EGL 5. You guys are victorious. Just kind of explain kind of how that came about. Did you guys decide that you were going to do it yourselves, or was it Apex who were just kind of do you guys want to go to the UK or what?
I knew that Strong Side was sponsored by EGL. Or I'm sorry, not EGL. Was sponsored by Apex, and he knew that Apex was a European company, and that when EGL was coming up, he said to us, hey, also, you guys know I have the Apex sponsorship. When we were discussing teaming with each other, he goes, I'm pretty sure that I'd be able to get us, to go to the next EGL tournament. And that's pretty much how it all happened. We're like, dude, this is going to be awesome. So, we'll go to the MLG tournament, and then a couple weeks after, we'll go to the EGL tournament. And we pretty much had it all planned out. It wasn't like a surprise. We kind of had it all situated. And then when we came, we played, we won, we left. It was fun as hell. And I would love to go back, honestly. But I don't know if that's going to be possible unless I get some sort of assistance. So, honestly, I wouldn't even have to, compete, dude. I would love to come over and just commentate, man, and just, help cast the tournament. That would be fun as hell.
Well, you're welcome to do it, man.
Dude, find me out there. Let's get it going.
Well, hopefully we can, hopefully we've got some big things in store for EGL, and we'll be able to afford to do such things.
Yeah.
Of course, tonight we're going to announce the 2013 dates. And what I will do is I'm going to post the dates in our chat, or get Dan to. Oh, they're right there. They were there. Dan has done it. Okay, so we're gonna share. Each of us is gonna do a date, and then we're gonna post up, of course, this information on the EGL.TV website for people. talk about what we're hopefully going to have on the cast next week, because each week we say we're going to do a better job of kind of publicizing this, and then each week Chris and I leave it till like literally the final hour to get things organized. So Ninja, thank you very much for joining us kind of last second.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, dude.
So we'll let you do the honors. Of course, you can see the dates in our chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can do the first set. Don't say the locations though.
How complicated it's become.
All right, you want me to read the chat?
Hold on, I'm gonna write in the window exactly what I need you to say, because there's information in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can say that. I can say that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. 29th of March through the April 1st and 2nd next EGL. And it's going to be taking place at... I'm just totally just...
Yeah. Not the next one. We still got 3 more before that one. This year.
That's
the first one of 2013.
It's 2013, yeah.
Ninja, you don't want to confuse these people.
I don't confuse guys. I'm not going to say anymore. So... Shit.
All right, so...
EGL 9.
That's Easter weekend.
That's 3 days.
Easter weekend!
And it's a 3-day event. March 29th.
3-day events are back.
3-day events are back indeed.
So March 29th, April 1st and 2nd. And it's not an April Fool's joke, even though it's on that weekend. Okay, so we're going to go to the next 2013 date, or set of dates. We'll let...
someone else did.
Yeah. Ninja, you can pick which one of these 2 clowns does it.
Clowns.
Let's get Joshua Nina, dude. Joshua Nina.
Right, so EGL 10, I can't shout too loud unfortunately, but EGL 10 is going to be the 25th to the 27th of May 2013. 10! Number 10, I can't believe it. It looks so far away, but can we get to that point?
Let's not start questioning.
Yeah.
Great doubt. Never a good decision.
No, every faith. It's going to happen. So yeah, 25th to the 27th of May, EGL 10. That's the second event in 2013.
Someone just pointed out like the best thing ever, and the fact that we've forgotten a date in March.
Forgotten what?
We've forgotten a day in March.
How do you mean?
Well, there's
30 days. Oh, Michael, what have you done here?
I know.
Michael.
I know. It's the last weekend in March and the first weekend of April.
Yeah, the 30th to the 1st. Not
first weekend in April, but including the last day of March.
Yeah.
I'll fix that.
That's not too big a deal.
Yeah. Of course, Chris, you can do... so yeah, we've got first, EGL 9 is Easter weekend. EGL 10 is the last weekend in May. And then we move on to EGL 11.
So, of course, EGL 11 will be the 27th to the 29th of July, I hope, Mike. In, of course, 2013. And that's that.
Yeah.
Woo! I've lost my...
It's all gone wrong, isn't it, now?
Yeah, no, I'm losing emails now, and it's just disastrous.
It's like the... Right, okay. The dates for... The dates for...
Hold on, I'm back.
Go.
Okay, so... EGL 12, which will be the 26th, 27th, and 28th of October, which is half term, hopefully, for most people. Last week in October. I mean, ultimately, we're looking at the last weekends in several of the months.
We'll get a news post up about this.
Yeah. Sorry for being so confusing. I should have been more...
It's all good.
Yeah. So just a quick recap. So we've got the 30th of March to the 1st of... So that date was completely out. So yeah, the 30th of March to the 1st of April.
EGL 9, yeah?
That's EGL 9. Then EGL 10 is the 25th of May to the 27th of May. So 3 days again. Then we've got the 27th of July to the 29th of July. And then we've got the 26th of October to the 28th of October.
So lots of 3-day events next year.
So we've got 3-day events, and for the first time we've got more than 3 events in 1 year. We've in fact got 4. So 4 times 4 times 3-day events. And EGL 12 was the final one, which was the 26th to the 28th of October.
And of course, we're hoping to intersperse smaller events, for different games around Europe and we're hoping to look to do things like EGL 6, but we're not going to be calling them the major events anymore. Kind of going to develop a new system for that because it was kind of, I mean, it looks kind of weird when we say EGL 6, but it was only for 32 Call of Duty teams. So we're working we're working around on that kind of stuff. And hopefully, we've got some big announcements coming up for EGL 6 in Sweden, which is Chris.
That Sweden is the 30th of June to the 1st of July. That is right, isn't it? Let me just confirm. Yeah. So not so far away now. You've literally got a month to wait for that. So guys, get buying tickets. A few more teams are confirmed their attendance and stuff. So hopefully we're going to have a decent turnout. It should be a good tournament. Obviously, only Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on the Esports 360. Maximum of 32 teams. More details available on that on our website.
And, of course, we've got EGL 7. Joshua, if you could kind of maybe chat about that.
Sure. So we got Blackpool, August 4th to 5th. We're back in the no break, which everyone really loves. So we're going to have all our main console roster back of games. And, it's going to be great. And that's obviously the predecessor to our final event of the year, which is...
October in Manchester. We've got the 13th and 14th. As part of Play Expo, which is a big gaming expo, which is part of Replay. Everyone who's attended our previous events knows who Replay are. They're the people who do the retro gaming. Well, they're doing a giant hall of retro gaming. They're doing a big hall of new modern games, which is called Now Play. So you've got Replay, Now Play, and then you've got Pro Play, which of course is EGL. So that event should be probably, our best yet. They're all going to be awesome. We've got some awesome things in store. We constantly listen to kind of the communities and so on. And anyone who visits or frequents HaloForum.eu, EU Esports, GearsOfWar.net, and Deserto knows that I'm on there. Obviously, Josh and Chris are heavily involved in Deserto and a variety of those communities and so on. And of course, hopefully, we're going to see the likes of Straight Rippin' and Ninja, at further EGLs.
Yes.
Hopefully, dude! I'm excited!
Okay, what we do now, Ninja, is kind of final thoughts. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't have to be gaming related. I should have warned you that we do this, but if you can say whatever you kind of final thoughts are. It can be shout outs. It can be what.
All right, yeah, dude. I know that's cool, man. All right, here's a shout out. Shout out to Bonafide Boarding, the new shirt company that is trying to get really well known in the gaming community. Look forward to some potential ninja wear coming up pretty soon.
Oh.
All right, just saying, man. And then also, everyone, my 21st birthday is coming up, and if you guys go to my stream, there's a little donation button if you want me to have a good time, dude. So. Just put a little. Give me $1 for a drink, dude. That'd be perfect, man. It's coming up in like 5 days, so awesome. All right.
Okay, so there you go. Ninja's birthday, 21st birthday coming up. What is what? Can you just throw us your obviously Twitter's Ninja_MLG. Your Twitch stream is just twitch.tv
Twitch.tv/Ninja. Yep.
And any sort of other kind of social media stuff? Do you have a Facebook page or anything like that?
Just give me a follow at Twitch, or twitter.com/ninja_MLG. And hang on one second. This is actually something that's pretty cool, and I need to know if I can share it or not. I need to hang on one second. This guy's been texting me very fast, so hang on. Can I tell about it? All right. So, yeah, just give me like 1 minute. Let's just kind of click, just chill. Because this is actually a pretty cool announcement if I can announce it.
Yeah, no worries. We'll wait. We'll hold out. We've got plenty of time. We've got Chris is going to talk about cosplay at EGL.
Oh, nice.
Well, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you
Japanese schoolgirl.
I'll make you a deal here. All right. I'll go as a cosplay character if I get to pick who you go as.
Well, I get to pick you, and then you get to pick mine.
No, I get to pick my own, and then I get to pick yours as well.
That's terrible.
Oh, okay, cool. I can't announce this. All right. So, a really long time ago, I sent out an email to the Guinness Book of World Records, and I wanted to break, the longest gaming session And I got the email after like 3 months. They finally actually emailed me back and said that it would be a legitimate thing to do, but I never really got around to doing it because I needed to contact some. Apparently, I needed to have like social media, like contacted and stuff, or I could pay like $5,000 to have one of their representatives come out and like watch me do it. Yeah, and I was going to do it with, or also do it with one of my good friends, Adam Heitrin, who used to play, or he plays MLG and plays Halo with me. Anyways, apparently it is going on. He has gotten the announcement, or he's gotten the email back from them as well, and he lives in Texas, and he also works at GameStop, and he has a bunch of support that's going to go down for it, and he plans on breaking the record with him and his friend when Halo 4 comes out. He's got a bunch of sponsors that are already supporting it, and he wants me to go down there and do it with him. So I'm definitely down to do that. It's going to be like the longest gaming session. So
how long is it going to be? How long?
I'm pretty sure the longest FPS gaming session is like 36 hours. It's 36 or 40 hours. 36 or 40. It might even be more, but I know that I can beat that shit. So.
You've already beaten it, haven't you, before?
Oh, dude, I probably have. So without even knowing it. All right, so yeah, I mean, I'll be keeping people posted on that, with more information. So thank you. 52 hours. Awesome. Oh, no, it's no big deal.
As soon as we're done this, like Chris, Josh, and I are gonna be like, how can we beat this record? We're gonna let you guys beat it, and then the next day we're gonna be waiting in the wings and go boom.
As soon as you finish your record, we'll then beat it by 1 minute.
Or finally we're going to be like, all right, now that you guys have beaten it, what are you going to do? We're going to be like, we're going to go to sleep. And then over in Europe, you guys are already doing the same thing. It's like, little do you know, these guys have just beat it. After, the second you quit, they quit 1 minute after. Enjoy that shit.
Caffeine straight into our veins. We can do this.
Definitely.
Chris, final thoughts.
My final thoughts are, for the cosplay, I'm going to go as Luigi, you're going to go as Mario.
Done. I could do that. That
I think you do it, Mario.
Sense.
Could you grow a moustache?
No.
It looks like
I could, actually. No, I could. It'd be kind of dirty.
I can't. No, I can't grow a moustache. My facial hair's too blonde dash ginger. But, so I'll work out something that I can wear a fake moustache.
Okay, we'll figure that out. So,
Glenn
EGL 8, Manchester, October 13th and 14th. There's going to be cosplay there. Chris will be dressed as Luigi. I will be dressed as Mario.
Yeah.
And Loco will be dressed as Princess Peach.
Excellent. Yeah. That makes no sense whatsoever.
It makes a lot of sense. I think you'll look beautiful.
The princess is in another castle.
We'll
okay. So, Josh, final thoughts.
Final thoughts is I'm hitting work straight after this, but I guess shout out to all those communities out there who are doing their part with or without a major gaming league circuit, be it whatever that circuit may be. Shout out to all you guys for putting in all the effort still and keeping your game alive. That's it.
Fantastic. My final shout-outs, or not my final shout-out. Well, I'm actually going to give you my final thought on what we're doing next week here on EGL Live. What I'm trying to cook up is the fact that Roy from HaloForum.eu is being sent to E3 by Microsoft on behalf of HaloForum.eu.
That's massive news, actually.
So that's huge news. So during all of E3, he's going to be over there for Black Ops 2. He's going to be over there for EA games to check out FIFA and a bunch of those games. He's going to be over there ultimately for Halo 4. So he's going to get to play the game. He's going to give us some kind of inside information, let us know exactly how it plays from a competitive standpoint. So big shout out to Roy and the HaloForum.eu. I think that's pretty massive news, and it kind of shows, this year they've changed the website. So they moved the website. They've had to convince a whole new user base to stick around with them. They've done a great job of it. They've gotten the likes of Ninja and Straight Rippin' over for an event, which was spectacular. So that is huge for them. And now Microsoft is lining up to send Roy over to E3 to cover Halo 4 on behalf of them. So big shout out to the peeps of the HaloForum.eu because they've done a great job this year. And hopefully things are just going to get bigger and better as we approach Halo 4. So that is my final thought. Anything else to add, guys?
One last shout out to their Twitter is ESPL Live, or so at ESPL Live. They they were really nice to me, and basically all of straight ripping when we were in EGL, and they also showed us a pretty good time when we went out, and they did a lot of interviews with us. So just yeah, that's my last thing to say.
Cool.
And thanks to you as well.
Cheers, Ninja Man. Yeah.
Well, you can see,
thanks for
you can
having me,
actually go on YouTube and find those interviews. I think there's a post on the EGL.tv website if you want to check it there. Of course, follow us on Twitter at EGL Pro. All our Twitter names are below. All kinds of information about EGL events coming up. We've got big announcements, of course, coming your way in the next few EGL Lives. We try to bring an announcement every week. So thank you very much for joining us. We promise to kind of keep things on time. And
Well,
stuff
ask for
next
your
time.
feedback. I think we should ask a bit of feedback from people as well, and just just steering a little community topics maybe. Just one a week or something, so we involve them more. Ask some questions.
Oh, hold on. I need to say it's not Roy, it's Sakro.
So yeah,
going? Who's
same.
going to
Roy G. Yeah.
there we go.
Well,
So
final thoughts. Would you rather be Princess Peach or Toad, Josh?
final thought.
Jesus, that's probably Princess Peach.
He's keen to dress as a woman, and that's that.
That was a lose-lose situation. It's not even fair.
Oh well. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. Loco, Josh, as always, it has been a pleasure. Thank you
Gracias.
to everyone in the chat for participating. And next time, we promise that my intro will be much better. So have a good night and happy gaming.